Thank you first of all to the Embassy of Italy and to the Italian Cultural Institute, Elena and the whole team who made this possible. I would like to express my gratitude and to remember a moment the founder of the Italian Language Program, Guarrera Wilmeth, who dedicated many years of her life to this project, to this mission. It was a mission for her. And also to Cesare San Fiorenzo, who was the previous director of the Italian Language Program. Also, I would like to honor my dear friend, Professor Capelletti, who passed away this summer. And he, after the passing of Maria and Cesarina, he took on the leadership of the language program and the Italian Cultural Society, and supported the society with his donation, with his time, with his leadership, and he remained involved after he hired me in 2013. And also, I would like to thank Arrigo Mangini and Romeo Signan, who had served as president of the Italian Cultural Society in the past, and they are here with us. So thank you for coming. And last but not least, thank you to our current board of directors, and in particular, Annalise Brodi-Morani, the chair of the board. And heartfelt thank you to the teachers who, with their passion and their professionalism, inspire more and more people to appreciate our Italian language and culture. Thank you. Please stand up, all the teacher, for a moment. What a better way to open this week of celebration of our language than with a concert inspired by Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy. To provide a commentary on tonight's performance, it is now my pleasure to introduce Professor Virginia Jewiss. Professor Jewiss is the Director in Humanities at Johns Hopkins University. She earned her PhD in Italian Literature from Yale University. She has taught at Dartmouth College, Trinity College, John Campus, and Yale University. Her translation work spans numerous film directors and Italian authors, including Dante's Vita Nuova. Professor Jewiss, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Francesca. Thank you all for being here this evening. I'd like to add my thanks to everyone here at the Embassy, and in particular to our pianists, Elena Buttiero and Anita Frumento. It is an honor to celebrate the 24th Settimana della Lingua Italiana nel Mondo, the 24th week of the Italian language in the world, as well as the 50th anniversary of the ICS Language Program, and to do so with such an extraordinary musical and literary event with this concert, The Divine Comedy for piano for four hands. There's, of course, no one better to represent Italian, the Italian language, than our poet Dante Alighieri, and no better way to celebrate what he has done than through music. Dante is often called, and rightly so, the father of the Italian language because he wrote his masterpiece, The Divine Comedy, in Italian. He also wrote a treatise on Italian, the De Volgari Eloquentia, or the treatise on the vulgar or spoken tongue. I will not launch into my entire lecture on that text, but let me just pause for a moment to say that Dante was the first to write a major literary work in what we now call Italian, the vernacular, or the everyday language of Italian, instead of Latin. When he wrote The Divine Comedy 700 years ago, Latin was the language of high poetry, of epic poetry. And so if you wanted to make your name as a poet, you would have chosen Latin. Yet Dante boldly chose the Volgare, the spoken, living language of his day, to compose his journey in. A journey that allows us, therefore, a language choice that allows us, the reader, to go so closely with him. This choice of his, this bold choice, elevated Italian and transformed it into an opening, ever-expanding space for new worlds to be imagined and articulated. Nel mezzo del cammin di nostra vita mi ritrovai per una selva oscura che la dritta via era smarrita. When I had journeyed half of our life's way, I found myself within a shadowed forest. for I lost the path that does not stray. This is the opening, of course, to Italy's most celebrated epic poem, which is comprised of 100 cantos. It is a journey of discovery, of education, and of redemption, a journey that begins in a dark forest and ends in the light of heaven. In those 100 cantos, Dante travels through the Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso, where he meets the damned and the saved, and where he talks with them, collects their stories, weeps, becomes angry, and rejoices with them. There's a lot that could be said about the Divine Comedy, but I will keep to 3 main points, or you can come spend the semester reading Dante with me. 3, of course, is the fundamental number of this poem, not just 3 canticles or 3 otherworldly terrains of Inferno, Purgatorio, or Paradiso. It is at the microcosmic level, the number of Dante's rhyme scheme, the terza rima. It is, of course, God's number, the Trinity. It is, of course, the number of love. Beatrice, Dante's beloved, he calls a number 9 because she is, in a sense, the realization of God on earth, or the mirror of God. 3 times 3 is 9. So 3 points about this poem. It is a poem of hope, a poem that begins in despair, in lost confusion. And yet it is, as Dante calls it, a commedia, a comedy. When he calls his poem that, he's referring to the Aristotelian sense of that word, of something that moves from distress to happiness. So this journey that becomes a consolation in darkness and a reminder that things move. Secondly, it is a poem of love. After Dante loves and then loses Beatrice, who dies as a young woman, that story is the story he tells in his Vita Nuova, Renewed Life. Dante, through a series of wanderings, I will save us from tonight, of philosophical and theological reflections, eventually comes to write this poem, in part to find his way back and to find his way anew to this woman, this human being who leads him to God. And so this poem of love that joins together, rather than holding in opposition, as the medieval tradition had done up until then, holds together human love and divine love. And third, it is a poem. And what I mean by that is that it rhymes, not just in the sense of sound rhymes, but in the deep sense of rhyming that is connection, of making us, allowing us to hear how things hold together. In this poem, Dante makes politics rhyme with theology, history rhyme with myth. Those rhymes help us hear that literature and science share the same meter, that the powerful rhythm of prayer connects the living and the dead. And Dante teaches us that we can learn something about the world and about ourselves if we take the time to listen to the cadences that connect us across time, across cultures, and across languages. Dante would be delighted to know that we are taking a musical journey through his poem tonight. Songs permeate the Divine Comedy, in which the poet imagines God as a composer and a conductor of the heavenly music of the spheres. So our journey this evening, as you have heard, will be conducted by music composed by Cesare San Fiorenzo, the composer from Genova, who, born in 1834, died in 1909, composed these musical selections based on verses of the poem. Our pianists, Elena Buttiero and Anita Frumento, rediscovered Cesare San Fiorenzo's score, which had been forgotten or lost for over 100 years. It sounds a little bit like a story right out of Umberto Eco's The Name of the Rose. We are very grateful to them for this discovery and for bringing their score to life for us this evening. So if I can invite perhaps our pianists to join us. Elena Buttiero and Anita Frumento are joining us from their home base in Liguria, and they are on their way to Mexico City, where they will be bringing Dante and Cesare San Fiorenzo to this new world. Let me just note that the English translations that are available this evening are by Robert and Jean Hollander. Qui di sospiri, pianti ed altri guai risuonavan per l'aer senza stelle, perché io al cominciar ne lagrimai. Now sighs, loud wailing, lamentation resounded through the starless air, so that I too began to weep. Dante's poem opens, as I said, in a dark forest in which our pilgrim is lost, unable to make his way out of the woods alone. Virgil, the great Roman poet, author of the Aeneid, appears to him from the land of death and tells him that he will take him on another path through the hard and long journey. In this passage that we will soon hear the music of, we get Dante's first description of hell, what hell really is like. And I'd like you to note how much we are hearing the perception of a poet. Hell for Dante is first and foremost an offense to the ear. Look at how he describes it there, that he hears loud wailing, lamentation, and sighs. Dante will, of course, go on to give us haunting visual images of hell's violence, despair, and darkness. But I think it's worth noting that his first reaction is one of sound, as he insists here. So let us now hear how Cesare San Fiorenzo imagined this sound.